So, nearby Nisha, would you like to just turn around and get your reaction to my costume for the first time? So let's just swagger onto camera now, shall we, for all the folks at home, for my Halloween costume. Maybe it's vampire.
Oh my god.
That's the reaction we wanted. Oh, so today's video is sponsored by a person who clearly had no input on the content they were helping us make. You alright there, Nisha?
Oh. I need a minute. I don't know.
It's alright. It's alright. You want to talk about Hellraiser?
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Hellraiser. Hellraiser is a film about S&M loving interdimensional travellers who torture the living shit out of any humans stupid enough to earn their ire. Ostensibly set in an unnamed American town, the film was actually filmed entirely on location in a single, small London townhouse. A townhouse production tried to hide the Britishness of with comically bad dubbing. Anisha, you need to look at me. You need to look at me.
That's so funny.
The best way, people watching this for the first time, the fuck is this?
Oh my god.
Alright, and the first thing we need to talk about is the fact today's video is sponsored. And thank you to our sponsor, which is a graphic novel called Grey Cells, who had no input on the content you're about to see today, besides saying, can you make it like horror themed because it's like a spooky graphic novel? We'll give you some more information about that at the end of the video. But thanks to those guys, because they paid for this lovely Halloween setup, my costume, and this beer, which is called Hobgoblin, which sounds spooky. And do you have anything to open up this beer with before we start talking about Hellraiser? I'm going to open it up. You knew. I'll open it with a Tommy Wiseau bottle, I guess.
Get rid of my tears.
Oh no, it's a shit bottle. Fucking hell, nothing worked. Oh no! Can someone pass me a bottle opener, please? I need to start drinking immediately. Thank you. Right. Perfect. Right, so Nisha, what do you know about some Hellraiser?
I did watch it a while back.
A while back, okay.
But I was just kind of like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, so people don't know Hellraiser. It's probably one of my favourite horror series just because the concept is so strong. And the concept is that there are just interdimensional travellers who have explored the very limits of what pain is until it becomes pleasure. And they no longer see a distinction between the two. And one of the reasons I like the film is that the villains in it, quote unquote, they're not really villainous, and they only interact with people who seek out them, and it's normally sadists and stuff like that, people who are looking to just see what, the ultimate pleasure is, and for them, it's torture. And that's why you get some, the best lines in the film of, your suffering will be legendary even in hell.
The bit that made me laugh the most is, it's Frank, isn't it? Frank, who's the guy.
Frank, yeah, the evil guy, yeah.
At the very end, when he gets chained up, yeah, and his face is being pulled.
Completely pulled apart.
He just goes, Jesus, the wept.
And we can talk about that in a moment. But yeah, in the series, he's very famous, and the lead main character, Pinhead, I believe we talked before, played by the legendary Doug Bradley, is now iconic in the spheres of horror. And one of the reasons I like Doug Bradley is because he got so good at applying the Pinhead makeup that he actually has a makeup credit on some of the Hellraiser movies, because they were bringing in a fresh makeup crew, trying to put the Pinhead makeup on him. He was like, no, you're doing it wrong. So how do you know? It's like, I've sat here in this chair for 5 hours a day, every fucking day for 6 months of production. I know how to put this makeup on.
He's pro now.
And there's really great stories from him about after filming had wrapped and he'd go up to talk to people and be like, so who are you? He goes, I'm Pinhead. I didn't recognise you without the makeup on. He thought people were just being a dick to him. He thought, what did I do wrong? I said, no, they just don't recognise you out of costume. Are you okay? Have you calmed down? You calmed down, Nisha?
Yeah.
The thing is, I can't look down at this happening. People wonder whether this is a witch's Halloween wig, which I think sums up how bad Tommy was. I love you, Tommy. I love you, but goddamn, it's hard to dress up like you. So people who don't know, the Hellraiser film is based on a short novella called The Hellbound Heart by author Clive Barker. That's fits today, because today we've been sponsored by a graphic novel of the spooky variety. Oh, for fuck's sake. Tommy, oh, these luscious locks. These luscious goddamn locks.
Just when you do that, when you forget, but that's what he does.
That's what he does, yeah. I imagine, no wonder he does it all the time. He's got long ass hair, man. It's all his thing. And the film was completed on a relatively tight budget of $900,000, and almost all of production took place in a single London townhouse, which Clive Barker picked personally for 2 reasons. You want to guess what those reasons were, Nisha?
It looks spooky.
Well, that's one. That's number one. And number 2 was it was cheap as fuck to film there. So it looked spooky, was cheap as fuck to film there, and you'll notice if you watch the films like a lot there's a lot of like cuts to the outside of the house. It has a very interesting, unique facade. And one of the things about Hellraiser that makes it so interesting is that it was a success in spite of the fact Clive Barker directed it and he had no experience with directing a film whatsoever. In fact, according to him, before he was set to direct the film, he went to the library to look for a book on how to direct films, couldn't find one, and just had to wing it.
That sounds a bit like Tommy.
It does sound a bit like Tommy Wiseau, doesn't it? It's almost like, I picked this for a reason. But he says that the film was basically carried by the experience of the production crew who walked me through the entire process, and I'm very thankful for their input, because without them, the film would not have been the success that it is. But originally the plan was for the film to go straight to video, and that's what Clive Barker was operating under the assumption on. So, well, it's going to be, I've got a budget of $900,000, it's not a lot of money, all things considered. It's going to go straight to video, so I'm going to make my vision. And my vision is just a spooky horror film in like a small London townhouse where just shit gets real. And do you have a favourite part of Hellraiser? Is it just the, oh, Jesus wept?
Just Jesus wept, I laughed my head off at it.
Jesus wept.
And the reason you probably laughed at that, Nisha, is because it's dubbed over with a shit American accent.
Well, when I was watching it, I do recall thinking the lip syncing and stuff looked a bit off.
And the reason for that, Nisha, is that when Barker completed filming, he took his completed vision to New World, the studio who were going to distribute it. And they saw it and they told Barker, this is a pretty good first attempt. And this might actually be somewhat successful if we released it in cinemas. But we are going to have to make one change.
What, the accent, apparently.
Well, the change was you need to set it in America. So they said the only way it's going to be a success if you set it in America. And Nisha, if you remember the film, and my description of it, you may recall that it's set entirely within the confines of a single house in London. And the film features an entirely British cast. And it was based on a novel by a British guy.
Well, I'm guessing he was annoyed about that.
Yeah, Barker was a bit annoyed, but he understood. He's like, you know what? Like, I write books, you make films, you know what sells. If you need to be set in America, I guess I'll go do some pickup shots. But he did the pickup shots around London. So almost every shot outside of the house was a pickup shot he filmed after the fact to make it look like the film was set in America. But he filmed one of the shots alongside the River Thames. And you can tell it's the River Thames because it's grey, dreary, and looks like shit. It's like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious that he's not in America, it looks shit. So every shot they made him go film extra on top of what he already had just made the film look even more British.
I'm guessing that's where they then dubbed everyone over.
They didn't dub everyone, they just dubbed a couple of the extras. And for some inexplicable reason, the main villain of the film, Frank, played by actor Sean Chapman. And that's why, that line, geez, what sounds so bad? Because it's just an American actor who wasn't physically present reading the lines. And the original audio has never surfaced, so we don't know how good Chapman's original take was, but we can guess that it was probably pretty good because he appears in the sequel using his own voice. And there's behind-the-scenes documentary where he's talking about like, yeah, I'm really pissed off because they used my voice for the sequel, but not for the original. What gives? So he just, and that's I'm the same character, but my accent changes between films, and they never comment on it.
It's like I noticed when Wanda from Avengers and stuff, her accent so disappears.
I love as well they tried to make that into a plot point. It's just no, Elizabeth Olsen just couldn't be asked anymore. Do you know what my favourite bit about this is? There's never released a version of Hellraiser with the original audio. And you'd think with how big its pop culture footprint is, they'd have had like a Blu-ray release with the original dubbing, but no. Which means that Hellraiser, one of the seminal horror slasher films, does not have the original audio, and almost every scene in it is inadvertently hilarious because of how bad the dubbing is. To the point where the only part of it you remember is the bad dubbing. Even people who were reviewing the film, who like horror, say, this is a fantastic work of art. It is one of the best films in the genre, but that fucking dubbing though. Like, even people who like the film say the dubbing's the worst part, and it's so inexplicable because the film didn't need to be set in America. It's a very, like, you know, timeless story. Like, you know, guy wants to, like, you know, get his balls stomped on by aliens from another dimension. Like, you don't need to set that in America or England. You just need to set anyway. It's just like, you know, Clive Barker said it in the UK, because that's where he's from. That's where he wrote the story.
Like, it takes place in a house most of the time.
Just a house.
It doesn't matter where it is. It's just a house.
Can we, though, just talk about the fact that that film does have, like, you know, a trope that I think needs to be more popular, and that is just skeleton. Where Frank comes back and he's just a skeleton.
I just like, I saw that. I was like, wait, what the fuck
just
is
Goo
going
Skeleton. Like, Goo Skeleton needs to make more appearances in films.
And then she's like, who are you? Frank. Like, oh, okay.
The thing is, they even dub the fucking skeleton. Even the skeleton's got an American accent. So the thing that baffles me most is, though, the film makes more sense when it's set in the UK, because it's supposed to be a really, like, dreary, depressing story. And that makes more sense when the film's set in a country that annually uses 4 bottles of sunscreen per year. So Nearby Nisha, all this week we're going to be releasing Halloween-themed content, and all of the main fact-themed videos released this week. So this one, the one coming out on Wednesday, and the one coming out on Friday, are all sponsored by the makers of the graphic novel Grey Cells. And yeah, they've sent me a list of things they want me to talk about. Right, they didn't tell me to talk about the content, but they did just want me to, like, you know, read out a couple of things for them. You know what, I'm happy to do that, because they gave me the money to dress like this. So they paid for this beer, they paid for all these spots. And Nisha, I think you're getting a bonus of £250 for recording these videos.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so we have here. So, the comic is called Grey Cells. It's a supernatural neo-noir thriller about a journalist on the hunt for a missing child who's been taken by a monster no one believes exists. That's rough.
God.
That's a fucking rough-ass day. And they're 4 independent creators who met on social media and collaborated to make it into a book. And it's a complete story told across 130 pages. And you can read the first 23 pages for free at the link you can find below. And the reason they're sponsoring this week's videos is because I'm an idiot. Because they originally reached out and said, can we just sponsor one video? And Nisha, you can speak to this as you know, someone who has access to the analytics behind the scenes. YouTube has not been very kind to us, has it, recently?
No, our views have, like, dropped a lot over the past, like, couple of months, I'd say.
Inexplicably. I think we lost like 60% of our viewership, and it's slowly been crawling back up. And they initially offered me, I think, £1,000 for one sponsor. But I went, you know what, that's not fair. I'm not going to take £1,000 off you, you know, when our numbers are down. That just doesn't feel fair, and you're going to feel ripped off if you don't get the, like, you know, the interaction that you hope for. So what I said instead is I counter-offered and said, how about I give you 3 videos for the price of 1, because I'm an idiot.
You might say, like, you're an idiot, but a lot of people see that as that's really nice. That's a generous offer.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like you said, like, numbers are down, we might not get as many viewers, which means they might not get many purchases, which isn't fair on them, really.
Yeah, so you can check out their, like, Kickstarter below, or you can wait till Wednesday and check it out then, or wait till Friday and check it out then. And just, like, more than anything, I'm just really happy we've got another sponsor that lets me just do shit like this. Because I wanted to dress like this for last Halloween. And I've been sat on this idea for a year, because I thought this is going to be so fucking funny. It's going to be so hilarious, and wait a year, and that reaction was perfect.
Honestly, it's the best thing. So I was expecting it to be funny, but I was not expecting to be,
you're not seeing the, like, complete look, Nisha. It's like... Here's the thing, I had to get, like, I've got a black t-shirt, but I specifically needed to get the V-neck, because Tommy wears a V-neck in that scene. So I went out and got a V. I don't wear V-necks. And then, because he wears an oversized shit blue blazer, I had to go buy an oversized shit blue blazer, but I couldn't find one, because shit oversized blue blazers are not in fashion. So I had to go to a second-hand shop, and I bought one. And this is legit, honest to God, this is a denim blazer.
Oh my God.
Denim, because it's the only thing I could find that was remotely close to what it had. And I couldn't find, because I thought in that scene he wore jeans. I always thought Tommy wore jeans. He doesn't wear jeans. He's wearing white cargo pants. They don't fucking sell white cargo pants. I had to buy khakis and hope that people wouldn't notice.
It looks good though.
It looks all right, but yeah. Thanks to the makers of Grey Cells. Check out all the links below, and yeah, thank you for the money.